Like I say, the Ford Motor Company only existed on paper and only existed in the stock market. It wasn't real, and the stock market isn't everyone thinking that, it's basically you're just giving use of your money to these companies. And like I said, they can actually spend all the money that you've given them, and your stock money can be worth nothing. Only you don't know it. So you think that, and they can post the value, any value they want. It's supposed to be based on how much equipment they have and all that other stuff, but that's relative. It could also just be a company that's just a name on a board, and nothing more than that. Like the Ford Motor Company, it doesn't really exist. It doesn't own factories. It doesn't own anything. That's why they went bankrupt. Bunch of Jimmy Carter was trying to save the Ford Motor Company. Like I said, you don't actually own any manufacturing plants. It's just a name on a board, and that's it. Another car company actually makes all the Ford cars. That's why Ford tries to actually buy GMC, and GMC isn't really a company either. That's why they all went bankrupt. It's Jimmy, G-Man, basically. They're fake. They don't actually make cars. It's basically Lotus or the Renault manufacturing, my company, basically, that makes all the cars. We always did. We can stamp your engines though. Chrysler, GMC. You can make it, it's just a stamp. When you have your heads made or your blocks made, we put a stamp on them. That's it. It's just internet, just computer scams basically. Anyway, a bunch of people were trying to say DeLorean went bankrupt. Well, DeLorean wasn't really a company either. It's just a bunch of parts in a warehouse. Anyway, a bunch of people were trying to say I went bankrupt. I didn't go bankrupt. I own the Renault manufacturing plant. It's my company. I own Europe. I made all the cars for you. It's my manufacturing company. It's my engineers. We're always making cars. We're always making everything. Anyway, a bunch of people posting a bunch of stock market prices on the board. That's why the stock market, it's all a lie. A bunch of people thinking they have money, but they don't really have money. They just basically been scamming everyone. That's why in 1920s they started going around looking at all the factories. Anyway, yeah. Because there's all these names on the board, and they're just names on the board. Even today, you can probably you give your money to buy stocks with someone. And they're supposed to check out the companies to make sure the companies are actually legitimate, but they don't. Just another scam done by the U.S. government. It's all a big scam. It's all worthless. It's just numbers on a spreadsheet. That's all it is. And sometimes they let the value go up and down. Make you think you're losing or making money. It's just a spreadsheet. They type in the numbers. Just like when they used to write it on the board with chalk. So, and even back then, one place would lower the stock market price or whatever, and it's actually supposed to be based on how many units they actually have in stock. It's much like It's just like a parts store. It's like a worldwide parts store. So, anyway, Jimmy Carter, Richard Nixon basically fucks it all up. It's basically supposed to be a stock. It's supposed to be like Intel would put 500 units of cell phones, 260 units of computers, 800 units of Plessy-Long parts. That's what the stock market actually is. Eventually, I allowed them to go ahead and give money to these people so these companies can actually build more stuff, build factories and stuff like that. But realistically, it didn't work. Basically a bunch of people were just writing, they're just taking the money from the people. So anyway, eventually you find out that basically you don't have any money. And someone was going around selling all this stuff off from the companies anyway. Anyway, so that's why the stock market crashed. Because it's all bullshit. It's all just a spreadsheet. They type in the numbers in a spreadsheet. It's supposed to be guarded. It's supposed to be whatever, blah, 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 blah. Eventually, when they started lowering the prices on everything or whatever, and I just shut down the computers and I said, that's it, I'm done. Eventually, they started, so a bunch of hackers from ATT Tech started it back up or something. Anyway, basically, that's why your world market crashes. You don't have any money. It's all inflation. It's all bullshit. Hate to burst your bubble, but anyway, it's all based on it's basically based on how much there is, and basically it's just like a parts store. That's the way it's supposed to be. The Irish knew how it worked. Like Ford Motor Company, if they were actually a motor company, but they're not really a motor company, would put 900 Tauruses, 360 whatevers, 800 Ford cars, 360 sedans, and that's what the board's really for. And you could buy one of those. Or whatever. Or it's based on your production output. Or the money you're going to make next year or something like that. There's some loose basis to it. Basically, it's all bullshit. You're just giving Trump money. And they're just spending it living a large life. That's why they called it Camelot. Yeah, it's just a bunch of risk attacks and a bunch of programmers, a bunch of existential people lying to you. So, anyway, yeah. I built the stock market. I own it. So, anyway, yeah. I invested in it, had it built, put it around the place. And a bunch of kids start going in there. A bunch of penny shares, whatever. Posting fake stocks. Oh, I have a joystick manufacturer. It's that joystick. Though. So you pay me for my joystick and you get this joystick. It's like that. Like, you invested in this, but what you get is this. He's like, okay, there's your joystick. You know, just a computer guy. I'll play with my joystick. Yeah, that's basically all you get. That's why the stock market crashed. Because you thought you were investing in this company, and you're actually getting that company. Because he's just a kid. He can't actually build this. He can go to China and say, will you build a joystick for me? Maybe he can actually build some plastic. Like I said, this plastic's actually manufactured. It's actually Chinese or Japanese plastic. Very good, actually. UV resistant, all kinds of stuff. But even this, like, I paid for this. I wanted the control to have a touch thing. It's actually my company, so you didn't even realize it. I own all these companies. I own all this stuff because it's just my money. So anyway, and I wanted a really cool joystick with a thingy, touch thingy. I put it out there and have some people build it for me. So anyway, it's pretty cool. Whatever. I don't care. Basically, kids can play with it. And then someone, oh, I'm so rich. Basically, they were paid out some money. We gave them some money for working on it, basically. Anyway, and then whatever. They build units of it, and they sell. And it doesn't even cost that much to build this. It costs like $1, $5, or $10, and this sells for like $30. You're just paying a bunch of jack-offs to basically go jack off and pretend to be existential and rich. So, anyway, yeah. A bunch of lies running around. So anyway. And I have lots of money. I have more money than anyone else because I have drugs and all kinds of stuff, sales. I own whole countries. I don't really care. Fuck it. I'm also the creator of the human race, though, so it's like, well, I've been around a long time. So anyway. That's why I know how this was made. And whatever. Eventually a bunch of Chinese come to my house, and Rodney plays the whole, like, oh, he's busy. It's like, I'm not busy. Oh, here, I'll pass this to Lucifer. And then later on he's going, oh, well, we'll just say Lucifer possessed us, and then we can have whatever we want. It's like, no, you can't. I don't possess anyone. I don't switch bodies. I don't do any of that shit. I'm sorry, no. Shoot him in the head. Eventually they start running around with a bunch of Republican cards. Oh, you have to accept my card. Like, no, I didn't start that. I didn't do that. I didn't say that. Shoot him in the head. So anyway, whatever.